Okay, you start noticing that there's a bunion developing on your big toe. All right, right before your big toe, you notice that your big toe maybe is starting to turn in slightly towards your fifth toe, okay, or towards your second toe. And now that bump is starting to form between your big toe and your foot towards your heel. So, how do you get rid of it? Now, if you start noticing that you have a bunion, let me give you a few tips on how you can prevent it from getting any worse and also how to even fix it so that you don't need surgery. Okay? Number one, if you have a bunion, two things could be happening. What causes bunions? Number one, it's going to be your tight shoes. If you're wearing heels or if you're wearing narrow shoes at the toes, it's going to cause a bunion over time because your toes are being smashed together in the long run. That's going to be one cause of bunions. Number two, did you also know that your arch in your feet, you have a medial arch, you have a lateral arch, and you also have an arch right proximal just before the balls of your feet? There's actually three arches, and usually the lateral outside arch and the one in the front of your foot collapses first before the one in the inside of your foot. But most people only talk about the inside of the foot arch. They don't really talk about the outside arches. When the outside arches collapse, your big toe will start going in because that's what supports it. And that's going to cause a bunion as well. So those are the two top things that's going to cause a bunion: tight shoes and also a collapsing arch. Now, how do you fix it? Number one, get shoes that are a little bit looser. If you have wide feet in the front, get wide foot 2E or W shoes. Don't go with the B's and D's because it's too narrow. How would you know if your shoe's too narrow? When you put on your shoe, stand up, take one foot off the ground so that most of your weight, or just lean over a little bit, so that most of your weight is on the shoe, right? On the one that's weight bearing, and feel your feet, okay? To see if it's really pressing against the shoe or not. If where that bunion is of the shoe is not flexible, well, then you're gonna get a bunion eventually. I always buy shoes where that part is wide, or if it's touching already, it's a flexible fabric. So you know that it's going to be able to flex when you're walking, because during your forward step, that's when your feet gets the most pressure at the balls of the feet, and that's when it widens the most. So you need to have space right there. Number two, how do you fix it? Get an arch that supports all three arches: the inside of your arch, the front, and also the outside as well. You need phenomenal foot arch supports, custom made if you can do it. And we have foot levelers that does in our office a 3D scan of your foot to make sure your foot is scanned correctly, that the arch support is made specifically for you, not just one of those arches that you buy outside, because most of the in-store bought arches only has the medial arch, which means that you're only supporting one out of three. Your other arches are not being supported at all. Now, the third thing that you can do is actually to build up that medial arch. There's medial arch exercises that you can do, whether it's taking a towel and brushing your foot to the outside, maybe you're gripping batteries with your toes. And there's different things that you can actually do to make sure that your arch supports are actually supported correctly. Number three, if you start noticing that bunion is there, when you're not on your feet, use one of those foam pieces that they give you at the pedicure spas to give it that space between your big toe and your second toe so that there's a gap right there, and you massage that area, making sure that your foot is used to opening back up. So that's three different things that you can do today to get rid of the bunion. Well, other things can help too. Foot massages, vibration therapy for your feet, okay? Make sure you're on your feet walking with great support. I hope this really helps getting rid of that bunion of yours. And hey, if your bunion starts recovering, now this is going to take months to do. Your bunion did not get there overnight, it got there over years. So after you watch this video a few times, and over the next 6 months to 12 months, your bunion starts getting better, make sure you come back and leave us a review, a comment, subscribe, and smash that like button. I'll see you soon.